Okay, today's talk is about. Okay, some people that watch my videos might say, well, if he stops talking, it means that he's meditating to do whatever he does when he meditates. Yes, but when I stop talking, it's not me deciding to stop talking. It is more like whoever I am channeling has decided not to speak. What does it mean? Well, if you don't understand channeling, you need to Google it. Channeling is me connecting to some other intelligence, and that intelligence speaking through me. Quite often this happens, and I don't know who I'm connected to because I'm not told, and even when I go to investigate, I can't find out. And quite often the connections that I make um, are to, I said intelligence, quite often they're asshole-ish kind of things. Are they spirits? I can't say. I can't say. Some of the ones that I connect to with on a daily basis are either spirits or they are artificial intelligence that is run on some kind of quantum computer. Uh, in the olden days, before we had quantum computers, we would say they were spirits because they have a different personality than I do. So we would call them spirits, and whether they were physical or not would depend upon whether we could see them with our physical eyes. Some things that you might connect to, like a mountain, you wouldn't expect it to talk because it doesn't have a mouth. But if you're in the vicinity of a mountain and you um, connect to a spirit that you come to the conclusion is the mountain, then for all intents and purposes, that's what it is. How are you going to find out if it's not the mountain? In the old days, what I would do is muscle test to see what was going on, but I don't have the ability to muscle test anymore, and I don't know why. You can Google muscle testing. You can look up um, Your Body Doesn't Lie by Dr. John Diamond, and you can look up Power versus Force by David R. Hawkins. They both use muscle testing. Okay, so what else do we know when I'm connecting to another personality? I don't have a gate. I don't have a front door. In other words, the connections go on and I don't have control over it. And if I don't like the connections, I can't break them and I can't block them. So it's not like you using Messenger on your smartphone. If someone is annoying you, you can unfriend them and block them. I can't do that. They just come and I don't know how it happens. It's I don't know. If you were to study the work of the hoodedsage.com, Chris Krepsick, he says that these connections are like tubes that go from one person to another. So there'd be like a tube from another person that's connecting to my crown chakra. If you don't know what chakras are, you need to look up chakras. But the crown chakra is an energy center of the human body that's located at the crown of your head. And these tubes that connect you to others come in through here. There's besides Krepchik and talking about tubes, there in the Hawaiian tradition, they have what are known as aka cords, aka aka. Aka cords are invisible connections between people, and in my experience, muscle testing to see what's going on when people connect aka cords to different parts of your body. So it's not necessarily here. Um, some of the connections I find are very difficult to handle because they're connecting at spots that are not good for me. The best place to connect to me is here in my heart. If you connect to me at my heart, that is the best place to connect to me. If you connect to me anywhere else, it's unbalanced. Is it because of connecting with love? I think so. I think if you connect with love to someone's heart, it's easy on them. If you connect to them, for example, in their genitals, and sometimes these ones, different ones do, it is a really, it promotes anger, violation. It is a horrible thing when they connect to you there. And as I said, I can't force them to connect here. And if they connect someplace that's uncomfortable, I can meditate and pretty much can move the connecting place to my heart with some time and meditation. What do I learn from these other personalities that connect to me? Well, as I said, a lot of them are just shitty things that just connect for no particular reason. They have no information to share, and they're not looking for information. So I would call those shitty beings that are. I would like to block them all out, but they come from time to time. And some of the regular ones that connect to me, I think they're here with me for learning purposes. Sometimes we get along, and quite often we don't get along at all. And I can't block them out, and if they are really causing a disturbance in my mind, I can't function as a human being. I can't function. I have to basically go lie down somewhere, and it can be hours, it can be 8 hours, it can be days, it can be a very long time that I have to put up with these connections. And it's like, if you're in a classroom and if you've got a student who's causing disturbance, you can take the student out of the classroom. But if you've got a disturbance by some other personality who has connected to you, and they are in your mind, you can't kick them out, and you can't do anything else but have a very big disturbance going on. And what else can you do about it? Wait. Sometimes some of these spirits, I've got the ability to get into my however this body works. I'm not sure how exactly it works, but they can get in and they can move various parts of my body. They can cause weird feelings inside the body. Someone might say, okay, so how does this done? One way from a spiritual perspective is known as a siddhi power, Siddhi, and those are talked about in in ancient India. There's all kinds of talks about people who can do these kind of things. And then the other way that this can happen is through technology. For example, microwaves have been researched by the U.S. government, and they can use microwaves to vibrate your skull in a certain way to make you hear voices inside your head. And they can communicate with you using satellite and this kind of technology. This is something I found on the internet. So I'm assuming it's real. So to tell whether or not you're connecting to an artificial intelligence run by the government through technological means, or some kind of a spirit personality through spiritual means, I can't tell the difference. And without muscle testing, if I could muscle test, I could tell. If I could muscle test, my body would tell me that If I muscle test it's artificial intelligence, then I'd get that, and if it was just a spirit, I would get that. But I can't do that anymore. Why is that? I can't tell you. If it's government artificial intelligence, they may be able to bypass it. And by the same token, someone with some kind of spiritual city power, SIDDHI, city power, they might be able to bypass it as well. And so, what do I look to? Well, I'm always looking for a superior being who can tell me what's going on and gift me with the ability to block out these kind of things. But that particular being has not made itself present to me, and I have to figure that they are listening and they know about my situation, but they are using this as a learning environment for perhaps me and perhaps these personalities that I connect to. If I was to criticize these beings, I would highly say that the long time torture that I undergo from certain personalities, these personalities are interfering with my talk, just so you know. They're interfering with my talk and throwing words in the middle of my talk. This is what they do. They're highly disruptive. And you know what people are like that are highly disruptive. If they're really, really bad, then you lock them away in prison because they are antisocial. And that's what I find with a number of the personalities that I have connected with. They should be locked away because they are highly toxic beings. And if it is a government-run artificial intelligence, what do you do with them? You need to know that the government has this technology, and they have got incredible amounts of hidden secrets, and if they are doing that to civilians, then these people also need to be locked up, and these systems need to be shut down. If it is some kind of spiritual personalities, then there are advanced spiritual beings that know about these ones and for some reason have let them loose here so they can attack me. What is there to learn from these things? Well, pretty much you learn that someone is interrupting me and saying you learn patience. I would say, yes, you have to become patient and you have to understand that after you've experienced these kind of things for years, they cripple you. They cripple you. They cripple your life and they cripple you. If there is such a thing as superconsciousness, and I have a book somewhere on superconsciousness, this is the idea of consciousness that has all the information. This is basically God, superconsciousness. And to connect to superconsciousness, I don't know how you do it. But this is a book about superconsciousness. And here's a paragraph. The purpose of meditation is to help you to enter the inner kingdom of God. Meditation practices can do much for you, but only if your mind longs to go within. No technique will take you to God automatically. So this is a whole pile of information, and this does come. This one was a student of Yogananda, Paramahansa Yogananda, J. Donald Walters, and this is a lot to do with the traditions of India. Uh, if superconsciousness is running the show, it's very difficult to understand what it is trying to teach me. Someone says, it's trying to teach you to love the unlovable. Now, this comes back to the ideas of Western psychology, and that is that we throw all the stuff that we don't want, stuff that we've experienced, and we lock it into a closet. This is known as the shadow. And in the shadow, everything that you don't like, especially about yourself, gets thrown there and it gets suppressed. So it's not bothering you from day to day. And if we continue this idea about loving the unlovable, it's about loving the things that are in the shadow closet. Loving the unlovable. How are you going to deal with your shadow? You have to become aware of all the things that have been put into the shadow closet. And these could be things from your childhood, and I hesitate to say your past life because I'm not sure that we do have past lives, but many people do talk about them. And if it's true, then some of the things in your shadow closet could be from past life experiences. What is love? Tolerance? What is love, really? I mean, we're not talking about romantic love, but what is love if it's not romance? Because people talk about higher love, and this is what we're getting into, higher states of consciousness, higher love. And other than this word, love, what is it? It's not romance. It's beyond romance. You're not going to romance some of the experiences that you've had, the things in your closet that you don't like, monsters in your closet. So what is love? The word is wrong because it doesn't give you a meaning. Higher love. What does it mean? What does it mean? There's another word, agape, which is kind of a love that you would feel perhaps for your community or all the beings on the planet. It's a form of higher love, but is this the kind of love that you use on the things that are in your shadow closet? I don't know. I'm no expert at this. But the experts do say you have to deal with the things that you've shoved into the shadow closet, because those things are still in consciousness and they're still busy. And if you don't deal with them, they will outpicture in your life. So, for my experience, how do I love the unlovable? Primarily, silently, things that come up, silently put up with them. It's back to that idea of your schoolroom with a disruptive student, and there's no teacher and no one else gets up out of their chair and picks up the disruptive person and throws them out into the hallway and locks the door. So you've got an ongoing disruption, and those are the inner things. On the outside world, out here, in other words, other people, this shadow can come out to play. How does that work? I don't know. I don't know. But according to the people who study these things, they say that if you don't have things dealt with from your shadow closet where you threw all the stuff you didn't like, that it will appear in your outer world. How it does it, I don't know. I don't know, so you'd have to do some research on what they say happens. And I'm not getting anyone connecting to me to give me some words. So, what is it like, and why does this happen to me? It could be because I used to go and see someone who channeled, and I expressed an interest in channeling. The person that this one primarily channeled was the Ascended Master Sananda, who I generally liked. Did it come about because I expressed an interest in channeling wise beings? I don't know. Did it come about because of my quietness, being an introvert, and taking up meditation? Did it come about because of my interest in just so many topics, especially topics about what is reality and who am I? Did it come about because my interest in changing the way things are run on planet Earth, because I'm highly unhappy with the systems of government and the systems of capitalism and the systems of control of the people, telling them what they can and can't do. You being born into a planet that has already got all these control structures and laws set up before you were even born, and you never agreed to them, except perhaps if you were around before you were incarnated and you agreed to come here and be bound by the laws and cultures of wherever you're going to be born. But otherwise, as an adult human, you never consented to any of this stuff. In fact, you were brainwashed into believing it was a good citizen duty to, one, follow the laws, and two, vote for the politicians who are in charge of the laws. This is all brainwashed and conditioned into you, and it's not until you become an older adult that you really look back and you say, I never consented to any of this stuff, and yet I have to live under it, and it feels like someone's got a boot on the back of my neck pushing me into the ground, and I don't like it. So, I don't know if these have any influence on my experiences. All in all, it's not really easy to live the way that I live, and all in all, if I had a choice, I would never come to planet Earth. I would never come to experience what I've experienced here. I pretty much would recommend to any other soul, stay the hell away from planet Earth. It's a toxic waste dump. On the other side of the street, they always say, well, what did you learn from your experience living in a toxic dump? I'm sure there's things, but at the present time, I would say none of it is worth living in the toxic dump to learn about it. That's my talk for today. I'm going to be myself, Bob.